Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. I keep my college videos coming because, I feel like it's important for students to obviously know like some things that I wish I knew going into college. I was the first person in my family to go to college, and I'm also an only child. I really did not know anything about college or what it was going to be like. Anything that I learned was from other people's YouTube videos or Google. Yeah, I pretty much winged it. Just because I did not know what to expect. Thought I would answer some questions from my perspective, questions that you might have. So I went on Google again, and I picked out I think 30 questions that are like probably the most popular questions that incoming freshmen or just, someone new to a college might have. If I don't answer a question that you might have, feel free to comment below, and I'll try to answer it if I can. Like I said, this is from my perspective, and this is about IUP, which is where I went to school. IUP is Indiana University of Pennsylvania. It's located in Pennsylvania. It's like an hour from Pittsburgh. So why I chose IUP? Ultimately, it had to do with my major. It was one of the very few schools, I think maybe one of the only few schools that had fashion merchandising at a public university. I know a couple colleges, I think in Philadelphia, offer fashion merchandising or something with fashion, but I'm pretty sure they're private universities or whatever they want to call it. And I wanted to stay in state because out-of-state costs would have been more as well. Obviously, like New York and New Jersey would have been, I guess, second options. Why I chose my major was just because I enjoy fashion. My only thing was that I don't like the design aspect of it. I know that I couldn't sew and I couldn't draw, so I decided to go more so the business route. I had some knowledge of business and things like that. As an incoming freshman, you will have orientation with IUP. This is all pre-COVID stuff. I don't know how they did orientation this year, but when I had orientation, they required you to stay overnight. You chose the days that you wanted to do it. I think you go there like the morning of, maybe like Monday morning, and then you stay over Monday, and then you leave around like Tuesday afternoon. You stay in a dorm room. It was 4 bedrooms, so you stayed with 3 other girls or guys depending on what you are. You had to like bring everything with you. As if you're basically moving into this dorm, you had to bring this stuff with you. You had to bring bed sheets and towels, and which kind of sucked because there are hotels. I would have rather just stayed at a hotel because my mom came with me, but she obviously had to stay at the hotel. So I would have rather just stayed with her versus staying in the dorm because you had to bring everything with you. You had to bring a blanket, pillows. That was one thing personally, IUP, I feel like they should make it optional. I don't know if they changed that or if it was optional, but pretty sure you had to stay in the dorms. I guess that was nice because it kind of lets you see how it would be living. Not if it's just an overnight thing. Orientation, you will go into different groups with upperclassmen that are working the orientation. So they'll have different groups based on like either your major or whatever group they decide to put you in. They'll just have presentations and they'll show you the campus, where to eat, and the bookstore, and just all the different buildings. First night that you were there, they had like this party, but it was just like a little IUP party that they had in the one building, and they just had a DJ, and I think they had like a photo booth. They were doing like henna tattoos or something, and then they also took your student ID picture at the time of that, which I was so mad because I was like so sweaty and I was looking rough in that picture. Questions that I was reading on Google, people were asking how accessible are administrators / professors. From my experience, they were very accessible. You could just go to their office or whatever building they're in. You could always email them. I'm pretty sure most of the professors and administrators at IUP are required to check their email, and a lot of them, that is how they communicate. That is how also you'll find out most of the time how your class is canceled. Make sure you check your email in the morning throughout. Just honestly check your email all day. I'd be going to a party and checking my email to see if I had class in the morning. That way I knew if I should go home soon. Not every professor will send out an email though. Sometimes you will go to class and just find out like either on the door or the fact that they're not there that class is canceled, which actually happens more often than you would think. And even though it seems great at the time that class is canceled, you are paying for the class, so you kind of want to go. Do professors hold office hours? Will they meet you outside of class? Most of the professors do have office hours, and it's typically somewhere around their classroom or right on the door that they tell you what their office hours are. Most professors will accommodate you if you can't meet them during their office hours, if you either ask them in person or email them. They'll schedule a time to when they're available to meet with you. I recommend if you have a question or a concern, just go during their office hours because they are either in their office or like in the vicinity. What majors are popular? I would say nursing probably, and criminal justice or something like that, but definitely like the sciencey majors I think are popular. What was my favorite and least favorite class? I wrote down a couple of my least favorite. I had a stats class, which is math. It was only my least favorite because of the professor. She was so nasty and had literally the worst personality I think I've ever come across in a woman. She was the type of professor that like you wouldn't want to even talk in the class like to her or to anyone. You just wanted to go to class, do what you had to do, and leave because it was just miserable. I put chemistry because I'm not very good at science, but somehow I got an A in chemistry. I think it was honestly because the professor liked me. That's all I'm saying about that. And it was a woman, so don't get any ideas. And then I also wrote poli-science just because the class was really boring to me. I felt that the professor was very racist. She would purposely call on students who looked Muslim so that she could be like, what's it like for you guys? Do you guys agree with this? It was racist, but it was like stereotype race. I don't really know, but it made me uncomfortable for them and for me being in the class. Favorite class? I would probably say my marketing classes. I think I took every single marketing class online, so that's why it was my favorite, because it was easy, it was online, and I didn't have to go anywhere for it. Are classes discussion or lecture based? Most of the classes I had were lecture based, which basically means the professor gets in front of the class and just tells you about whatever the topic is that they're talking about. I know one class I had was more discussion based. She would have days that it wasn't so much a discussion, but you would work with other students in the class on like some sort of assignment. That was my religion class, and that was actually a pretty fun class. Not that it was fun, but I didn't dread going to it. And the professor had a good personality. Do they offer study abroad? I know IUP does. Every semester they have some person coming in to talk about study abroad programs. So it is available. People do it. I know they had it for fashion as well. But I think it is a great opportunity. If you are interested in it, I would say go for it. What was a typical day like? I'm gonna give a typical day of my final year. Started going to the gym every day. Get up, go to the gym, get breakfast, go back home, get dressed, go to class, maybe go to another class or get lunch at that point, go back to my dorm, go to class, go back home for a while, probably do some homework, clean up my room, get dinner, and then either go to the library, hang out with somebody. Thursdays were a different story. I obviously like to go out. Friday, same thing. How much studying per week? This can vary. It depends what you have going on. If it's syllabus week, that means that professors are literally giving you their syllabus for the class. There's really no studying there. If it's midterms or if it's finals week, then you're gonna have a lot more studying to do. I would just say it can vary on what's going on. I'm not going to say I was studying every day unless I had exams that week or something. What did I do when not in class? I was doing homework, possibly studying, cleaning my room, doing laundry, going to the gym, going tanning, grocery shopping, going to a party, hanging out with a friend, going to the library, to some sporting event on campus, a movie thing. There's a lot of stuff to do when you're not in class. You just gotta find what you want to do. Social scene / area of IUP. IUP specifically is not a city. It's like this small little country town. It's not like you're going out to the mall or going to do exciting things, really. I feel like a lot of people, if you're looking to do something, they typically go to Pittsburgh. There's more things to do. There's the zoo, there's more shopping, things to do at IUP. They occasionally will have campus events going on, so sometimes they would have like movie nights on the weekends, concerts, or obviously sporting events. Do most students live on campus? A lot of them do. I did. There are some that commute from Pittsburgh, or I think Punxsutawney. How are the dorms? I lived in the dorms all the years of college. I liked it. There's a couple things I would say about the dorms. They're just so expensive, and I feel like that's why a lot of people move out of them, and so that you don't have like the rules of a dorm building too. As an incoming freshman, if you aren't commuting, then you do have to live in the dorms the first year. They are very clean. I don't have really any complaints about them. They have laundry rooms, they have computer labs, they have little vending machines. Obviously, you have to pay for all that. Don't get it twisted. I feel that it's very safe to live in the dorms just because you have to swipe in to different parts of the building. You get your student ID, which it has a little thing on the back. This is like your life almost. It'll get you into your dorm building, dorm room, get you on the bus for free, pay for your meals. So you always need to have this with you. The main dorm building, it doesn't require you to swipe in until I think like 8 o'clock at night. But to get into your dorm hallway and obviously your dorm room, you have to swipe in. So I feel like that's pretty safe. safe. Do lots of students belong to frats or sororities? I would say a lot of them do. I feel like a lot of students that go to IUP, they are a part of something. So it's either a frat, sorority, some type of sport, some type of club. It's really up to you what you want to do. Favorite place on campus? I would say the hub. It's basically gym and different food places inside. It also connects to the campus bookstore. Loved it, and that's where I spent most of my time, I feel. And I also always lived close to it, so that's where I was always going. Where did I study? I always preferred to study in my room. A lot of people go to the library to study, but for me, I like to read out loud and I get distracted very easily, so the library isn't always quiet. I feel like there's always that one group of people that are mad loud, and it's just distracting because now you start listening to their conversation, you start looking at what they're doing. Also, majority of the time I would go to the library with someone. I realized that like I would just always be talking to the person instead of studying. What are facilities like? The gym, library. The gym was relatively big. It was very clean. The library is like 3 or 4 floors, really big. It seems big during the school year, but once it gets to finals week, the library's too small for finals week. And also it has a like coffee shop in there too. Actually, I don't even know if it's open anymore, so I don't even know. That might be a lie. Are there enough computer labs? I like this question because IUP is really good with their computer lab. All of the dorm buildings have computer labs in them somewhere, typically on the first floor. Free to use, so you have to pay for printing. They have them at the library. They have them in the hub. The one building, human science with it's HSS it stands for, but I don't know. It's like a main building that a lot of your gen ed classes will be in. They have a computer lab in there. How is Wi-Fi? I don't think the Wi-Fi was that great, but it also wasn't the worst thing ever. Is it easy to get around? I wasn't driving. I managed to get around. I think most universities, they have their own bus system. 2 different types of buses to really go on. So there's a smaller bus, which is just the campus that it goes around, and then they have the larger buses that take you more so around town. I would say it's very easy to get around. Campus that you can walk pretty much to a lot of places. It's not that big of a campus or a town that it's hard that you get lost. Best place to eat on and off campus. Off campus, they have a Mexican place called Tres Amigos. I hope they're still open because they had really good Mexican food. They have a couple places on Philly Street. The Coney has some good food. There's another place that I used to get a cheesesteak at, but I don't know what the name, like Steel City, I think was the name of it. That was good. On campus, Sandwich Shack. I became friends with one of the workers, but I would always get this buffalo chicken panini, and I would always have the same worker make it for me, and I hope she's doing well. Obviously Einstein's, which is like a coffee shop, so I would always get a bagel and cold brew there every morning. They learned my order. There would be some days they would have my order ready for me, and I'm like, this is embarrassing. No, it was cute though. It made me happy. Clubs and organizations. There's tons of clubs and tons of organizations for anything and everything. There's clubs for fashion, if you want to just be in a Spanish club. I think there was even a Harry Potter club. But there are tons of things to join and organizations to be a part of. Meal plans and flex. They are how you are going to eat. So there are different options to choose from for both. I always chose the option that had the most, which, not to sound like a fatty, but I just obviously was always eating on campus. I chose a certain amount of meals. I think it was 165 meals a semester, which sounds like a lot, but it's really not. Every meal that you would get would be 2 meal swipes. Do the math of that. It goes very fast. If you're eating, let's say, 3 meals a day on campus and each one is 2 meal swipes, that's 6 meal swipes a day. Do some division and that shit's gonna go quick. You could also do meals per week. Flex is added on money. Certain places don't accept the meal swipe. I think Einstein's might have changed now to just being flex. Chick-fil-A is only flex. Starbucks. How many classes should you take? That's entirely up to you. I personally always like to take at least 5. Some semesters I did take 4, but I wanted to stay on top of how many classes I was taking and my credits so that I could graduate early. One thing I would recommend are scholarships. Definitely apply to scholarships. I had to pay for college. I'm still paying for college. So I didn't get a free ride because of a scholarship, and after going 1 or 2 years, they have more options for you because you are a student with so many credits and you're majoring in this major. I was able to get scholarships that were like $500 or something just because I applied and I was in the major and I had the right amount of credits at that time. Definitely look into them. There's so many different ones. There are a lot that you can write an essay for, but there are a lot that you don't have to write. I think the one I might have had to write a couple paragraphs or something. I never wrote like a 10-page essay. It's free to apply to them, so you might as well. Do you need to decide on a major going into college? They have a thing in college that you are part of the undecided group, and there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people are undecided going into college because you have so many general education credits to take. You can do all your gen eds first until you really decide what you want to do. For me, going into it, the one administrator or whoever I met with during orientation had told me that she wanted me to take a fashion class my freshman year, my first semester, just to make sure that it would be something that I was interested in. You could always do that, take a class maybe that is part of a major just to see if you would like it. If not, you could always use that as an extra credit, a miscellaneous credit that is probably required. Those were just the questions that I thought would probably be most helpful to answer from my experience. So let me know if you guys have any other questions. I would be happy to answer them. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.